Grand Rising, people, Grand Rising. I know it's been a long, long time since I've been on here, and I brought this channel up because there were scammers out there. So I put a bunch of my old videos up here. You'll notice that the picture is me, is of me in my younger day. Actually, it was in Saudi Arabia while I was in Desert Storm. But there's so many scammers out there that when I went to create a new channel, my name was taken up so many times, and the old one was at Christopher Hauser 3647, and somebody else jumped right in there and created a channel. I think it was the Grant Scammer, and his channel was Christopher Hauser 3647-E2U. So when I did mine, I did it the same. Now, if you'll notice, mine's E3U. Okay, mine's E3U. Today is the 6th of April of 2025, and I did this. I put this stuff back up here so that people could drop comments in, and people could eventually know. I mean, that other channel, dude's got 68,000 subscribers, almost as many as I had when mine went down. But I wanted one out there that was genuine, so you know that if you're not in this one right here, if you're not looking at this one right here, then you're on a fake one. You're on a fake one. But anyway, I wanted to kind of bring some folks up to snuff about what's going on, seeing how I'm gonna be doing videos and stuff like this from time to time. But we were denied post-conviction. I'll kind of explain it to you. There is after you exhaust all of your appeals, which happened to us, it went out of the Supreme Court and back to the petty court. Well, there's a statute of limitations on how long you have to file for post-conviction relief. And it's 1 year. And we filed the post-conviction, and we sent it on May the 9th of last year. It was mailed out. And then we sent it certified mail, return receipt. And what happened was, I'll hold this up so you can see this. We sent out 3 copies. We sent one to the clerk, we sent one to the judge, and we sent one to Jonathan Skermetti. He is the Attorney General of the state of Tennessee. Well, we sent them out on May the 9th of last year, and Skermetti, you can trace these numbers, track these numbers if you want to, and see how the delivery went. And you see it was delivered May 13th, 2024 at 9:57 in the morning, Nashville, Tennessee. And then the next one was sent to Cheryl Blackburn, Judge Judy. Y'all have heard me talk about Judge Judy. They all left at the same time. This is the tracking number for what we mailed to her, and see, it was delivered the 14th, 2024, 8:36 a.m. This is the one to the clerk of the court. When you file these stuff into the clerk, or into the court, it goes to the clerk's office, and then they file it into the record. I tracked this April the 1st, April Fools. I tracked this one. And if you notice, right, it says moving, right here. Okay. It says that on May the 15th, right, moving through network. And it says up here, your package will arrive later than expected. I'm trying to read this backwards, but y'all can read it here anyway, right? So what is the United States Postal Service saying? As of April the 1st, it hadn't even arrived yet. Okay. Now, according to the postal rule, it's actually filed, if you guys remember me talking about the postal rule, it's actually filed when you put it in the mail. So our post-conviction relief was filed in the mail on May the 9th. And that's what they should have filed it as, not as when they got it. Well, according to the United States Postal Service, they haven't even got it yet. It's still out for delivery as of April the 1st. But I do know that it made it there because I got the green card back. Okay? This is a copy or a printout of the green card. This is my finger in the picture, so don't think I got 5 fingers or any crap like some idiots do. But if you look at that right there, look at who signed for it and the date it was signed. It appears to be that it was signed or received by the agent for the clerk. His name was Joseph P. Day. Okay, it says 5/16/24. Look a little closer. This is a close-up shot. See the date? It's been altered. It's been altered to appear as if it got there a day late. Okay? Now, Mama didn't raise no fool. So, it's a little different, and I'll read part of this to you, or I may read it all. I don't know. I'm trying not to make it be a long, but this is a copy of the post-conviction relief, right? It should have been stamped and filed and signed by the clerk. And then a copy of it should have been sent to me. But look at how I filed it, y'all. Christopher Allen Hauser, Sovereign, et al. Petitioners, okay? And that was our argument for post-conviction relief. Now, I called down there at the end of last month, and I talked to the law clerk of Judge Blackburn, and we had a nice long conversation. I recorded it. I wish I knew how to transfer it over to this YouTube, put it on YouTube so you guys can hear what I actually talked to this guy. But I talked to him on the 11th of March, and by the 13th of March, see there? By the 13th of March, Blackburn signed this. So I talked to him at 12 o'clock on the 11th, and by sometime on the 13th, they had generated this denial. Our order for post-conviction has been denied, okay? But I want y'all to look at something. When I filed I filed Christopher Hauser, Alan Hauser, sovereign et al. And the denial letter we got, I don't think I have my address on it or anything, right? It's got Christopher Allen Hauser, James Michael Usinger, and Ronald James Lyons. Okay? That's what she sent. That's not what I filed, right? And they were supposed to have sent me a copy of what I filed last May. When they got it, they should have stamped it, filed it. Article 6 of the Tennessee Constitution, subsection 21, says that all processes have to be stamped, and filed, and signed by the clerk of the court. I haven't got that back yet. Wait a minute, it's asking me about the cellular device. Okay, I'll just go on. I'm just recording anyway, so I don't need the Wi-Fi right now. But, so, and that, we didn't get a copy of it, nor does the United States Postal Service, even admitting that they even delivered it. Now, we know that they delivered it, but what happened with the postal worker? Why didn't he scan the package in? Because he's probably in cahoots with the court. Oh, I'm going to sign this card. They started to say, I showed the card to a friend of mine here at the DAV. He's a retired postal worker from Miami. He handled business stuff all the time. I said, you know what this is? He said, oh yeah, it's a certified return receipt, signature card. I said, yeah, it is. I said, look at it and tell me what you think. Is there anything unusual about it? He said, oh yeah. He said, looks like they put a 16 over where they tried to put a 15. So, I mean, he picked it up and I didn't even have to tell him about it. So I talked to my postmaster at the post office, and she ran it. Oh, it's not even showing up. She did an extensive search and found out it was still waiting to be delivered. So that Monday, I talked to her on a Saturday, and on Monday, I was calling the Office of Inspector General at the United States Postal Service in Virginia. I've made a complaint, and they took a report. They are investigating. I recently got an email from the Office of Inspector General out of Nashville. I'm going to call them this afternoon and let them in on a few things. Then afterwards, I called the FBI, and they've opened up a case. This is mail fraud, mail tampering, wire fraud, a bunch of felonies for Judge Blackburn in her cohorts, and possibly a mail handler. So they refused, and I did all the paperwork to do an appeal to the appellate court. Now, here's the kicker, y'all. Y'all have heard me talk about Judge Judy over the years. She had a stroke in 2021. She was out of work for about 3 weeks and came back to the office. Since then, lawyers in Nashville have been trying to get her taken off of the bench, saying she's incompetent. She's falling asleep in murder proceedings. She's forgetting prosecutors' names. I mean, you've been working with General Moore your whole freaking career because he's crusty old like she is. And you can't even remember his name. And here's the biggest thing she screwed up on. Last year, there was a couple from Mississippi who came to Nashville. They were partying in a bar, and girl's boyfriend started accusing her of cheating on him, and they went out to the parking lot, and he beat her. And while he was beating her, there was an 11-minute conversation that she was recording on her phone. She also sent a text message, a 911 text message, to her dad, and her dad gave the police the whereabouts, her whereabouts. They arrested the guy. He beat her up pretty bad. She couldn't even talk for a couple of weeks. But Blackburn had his bond set at $251,000. She reduced it to $150,000. He bonded out, and the court screwed up. They even admitted to it, that they screwed up in the instructions to the sheriff's office, so that when he was released, he was supposed to be have a tracking device, and he wasn't supposed to leave Davidson County. Well, he went back to Mississippi, killed his girlfriend, and they found her like 2 weeks later in the trunk of her car in a graveyard. I think her name was Shannon Johansson, Johansen, Johnson or something like that. And her father's name was Lance. He was an orthopedic surgeon. She screwed up. She really screwed up and got somebody killed by releasing this freaking clown. I've spoken with Lance on the phone, and I've also spoken with a couple of lawyers, and now they're up on what I got going on, what's happened with me. Do I trust them? Hell no. I don't trust a single freaking lawyer out there, one. They're all shitheads. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, without further ado, I'm going to kick into this. This is the petition. And you got to remember, and I'll speak more about this as I finish this anyway. Order to dismiss post-conviction petition. This was, see, if you notice, it was stamped. It was time stamped, filed in the court, and the clerk, deputy clerk, and they're using their freaking initials. It doesn't say that. It says signature, signed, that kind of stuff. That's the language. And it must be, or shall be, actually, is the word when you read it in the Constitution. But it says introduction. Petitioner Christopher Hauser, James Usinger, and Ronald James Lyons have filed a petition, pro se petition, for post-conviction relief. All right, this is what we filed. The post-conviction relief. If you guys notice, I filed it as sovereign as et al. Okay, that's important. And it says that. Let's see, where is it? I can't seem to find it. It's basically saying that we're there. Yeah. It says, we claim properly that we was the beneficiary of the trust and therefore cannot make decisions for the trust. I also appeared specially, not generally and voluntarily, in propria persona suri juris, as the sole beneficiary of the Sestake Trust. So she's in here saying now we're pro se. We never filed pro se. We say we're here suri juris in propria persona. So the petition was filed with the court clerk's office on May 16th. Remember, I showed you the card. 2024. The petition alleges numerous grounds upon which they are entitled to relief. After reviewing the petition and the record in petitioner's case, the court finds that the allegations raised in the petition are proper for post-conviction review. However, as exploring in greater detail below, the petition was filed beyond the expiration date of 1 year statute of limitation provided in Tennessee Code Annotated 4030-102A, and the court finds no basis for tolling the limitations period. The petition is therefore dismissed. Procedural history. Following a Davidson County jury trial, the three above referenced petitioners, she's calling us petitioners, okay, along with Lee Harold Cromwell and Austin Gary Cooper, were found guilty and sentenced as followed. And then she goes on to list each one of us and the charges and the counts. But if you'll notice right here, it says 14 counts. 14 counts and 14 counts, right? That would be 28 counts, right? That's not the case. It was 21 and 21. There was 42 alleged counts, felony counts, okay? So that's another thing that's incorrect. Mr. Cooper is presently incarcerated while the other persons convicted in the case are on parole. But we're still, you can be on parole, but I am still incarcerated. I'm incarcerated in the state that I'm in. I can't leave the state without asking for permission. I went over to Asheville for a doctor's appointment last Thursday, and I had to get a permission slip from the freaking parole officer to go over the state line. Therefore, I am incarcerated. I'm incarcerated in the state. The whole first year I was out, no parolee was allowed to leave the state of Tennessee because of COVID restrictions and shit. The judgments of conviction were entered June 27, 2018. The court denied all 5 co-defendants' motions for new trial October 30th, right? July, August, September, October, the end of October, 4 months, 17 weeks. It took her to decide on that, whether we would be granted. No, here's another thing that I found wrong. The judgments of conviction were entered June 27th, 2018. The court denied all 5 co-defendants' motions for a new trial on October 30th of 2019. So it is a year and 4 months. That's wrong. That's wrong. It was probably more like October 30th, 2018. They just frigged it up again here. Petitioners subsequently filed timely notice of appeal. The Court of Criminal Appeals issued an opinion March 22nd of 2021. That's when it went in front of the Court of Appeals, affirming the conviction and sentence imposed by the court, State versus Lyons et al. Okay? Like I filed the petition, Christopher Allen Hauser, Sovereign et al. And then it says the case number. Tennessee Supreme Court subsequently granted the co-defendant's application for permission to appeal. In an opinion filed May the 5th of 2023, the Tennessee Supreme Court confirmed the Court of Criminal Appeals opinion, State versus Lyons, 669 Southwest 3D 775 Tennessee 2023. Current post-conviction. The current post-conviction was filed May the 16th of 2024. The petition lists Mr. Hauser, Mr. Usinger, and Mr. Lyons as petitioners. And remember, she called us petitioners, okay? She just got done calling us petitioners and filing the other petitioners' names. However, the only petitioner to complete the petitioner's verification under oath subject to penalty of perjury was Mr. Hauser. The petition, which is the form petition, includes the Supreme Court ruling or Court Rule 28, listing several grounds upon which the petitioners assert they are entitled to relief, including conviction was based on the failure of the prosecution to disclose to defendants evidence favorable to the defendant. To disclose to defendant evidence favorable to defendants. That's where they hid the contract. Oh, these guys had no legal basis. Well, let's just put it inside the record here. Right? They failed to disclose that. Conviction was based on a violation of the protection against double jeopardy. Conviction was based on actions of a grand jury or petty jury that was unconstitutionally selected and impaneled. Denial of effective assistance of counsel. Remember, we didn't talk to any lawyers, so we had it was ineffective assistance of counsel. Newly discovered evidence, illegal evidence. The court continuously stated that the UCC-1 forms were liens, even though the expert witness for the state said that they were not liens, but a notice to the world that this person owed this person a debt. The other grounds, witnesses lied in the trial and were never adjudicated for their aggravated perjury. Although Tennessee Code Annotated Section 40-30-106A requires post-conviction court to, listen to this, y'all. Let me read it again, and you can go back and look at it. Although Tennessee Code Annotated Section 40-30-106A requires the post-conviction court, which is Blackburn's court, to, within 30 days of a petition's filing, new review a petition, or filing, review a petition, together with all the filings, records, transcripts, and correspondence related to the judgment under attack, and enter an order in accordance with the section for subsection 40-30-107. This court acknowledges that it did not issue a preliminary order within the 30-day statutory period. She's saying we were 1 day late. She's filing this. She had 30 days from May the 15th or 16th, whatever, which would have been the middle of June, to do a preliminary order. She didn't do it. She waited till the middle of March, 9 months later, to write this denial. So you're going to follow our rules. You're 1 day late. You're screwed. But we can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. We don't have to do what the code is saying we have to do. Analysis, post-conviction, limitations periods. Tennessee Code Annotated 40-30-102A provides a relevant part, and it goes on to talk about that if you guys want to read it. Thus, the post-conviction limitation period in this case expired May the 15th. Listen to this, y'all. Expired May the 15th of 2024. The petitioner in this case bears a stamped date of May 16, 2024. That means they filed it. They waited 1 day and then they filed it. Means that the petition was filed 1 day past the limitation period. Thus, it is untimely. Let's not talk about they're untimely. And check this out. Delay in delivery. She's even going to talk about this. She probably went and checked to see when it was. I know she did. That's when she knows this stuff. The petition was sent through the U.S. mail. The criminal court clerk retained the envelope in which the petitioner was was sent, or the petition was sent. The envelope bears a postmark date of May the 9th of 2014. Okay? May the 9th of 2014. We didn't even do the shit they're talking about till 15, 16. All right, now I know they're going to say, oh, that's a clerical error. Oopsie, another clerical error. Like how many counts you were charged with. And was sent from the post office in Newport, Tennessee. The envelope bears a file stamp date from the criminal court of May 16, 2024. That means it was almost a decade late getting there, or for them to file it. The same date stamped on the petition. The post-conviction petition by an incarcerated pro se petitioner, remember we're not pro se, is considered filed when it is delivered to prison authorities for filing, and it's Paul versus State. It's also in the Tennessee Rules of Criminal Procedure, Rule 49C. However, although petitioner was on parole at the time the petition was mailed, it's just going on to talk about it, about that case, right? Statutory and due process-based tolling. It goes on to talk about what can be excused. And this is what can be excused if it's late, like the guy's insane. Like his lawyer did some shady shit, that kind of thing. Was that on that page. It says, the petition does not contain any argument suggesting that the statute of limitation should be tolled on due process grounds. Petitioner can file a subsequent pleading argument for due process-based tolling, but at present, the court is unaware of any extraordinary circumstances that would have prevented timely filing of petition. Oh, we're unaware. Let's see if they're unaware when the freaking post office, the feds come in and start investigating. FBI is knocking on their door. Who's this guy? The court observed Tennessee Supreme Court mandated in this case issued June 9th of 23. However, the appellate court has routinely held that the date final action of the highest state appellate court to which the appellate court was taken is the opinion on either the Tennessee Supreme Court or the Court of Criminal Appeals. Because it took them, it was on June the 9th that they had it, but it took them months, 8 or 9 months to write the opinion. Yeah, for no more than what they had to write. Coram nobis, it talks about that. The coram nobis petition. But it says, in conclusion, the claim states that the claims stated in the petition are appropriate for post-conviction review. That means she's saying we got every issue we're talking about is appropriate. However, the reasons stated above, the court finds the petition was not timely filed according to the petition. Accordingly, the petition is dismissed. Lee Harold Cromwell has filed a separate petition for relief. The petition will be addressed in a separate order. And then she signed it, and they filed it. She signed it on the 13th, and they filed it not 8 days later. But look, y'all, and oh yeah, and something else. On the 25th of March, they got Mark McConnell. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about Mark McConnell. Mark McConnell was the only guy they didn't get when they picked us all up. His son, he was 3 counties away over the Tennessee line. And his son called the TBI, turned him into the TBI. I don't know what his reasoning was for doing that, but after talking to some of his relatives, I'm not mentioning any names because I don't want to get them hemmed up in any crazy shit. So, but apparently he was in Virginia, the western part of Virginia, the part of the state, not too far from Mount Airy, where you get Mayberry from. Mayberry, North Carolina, the Andy Griffith Show, is based on a town called Mount Airy. It's off of 77, Interstate 77 in North Carolina. But apparently he fell out. He had prostate cancer and it's metastasized. And he fell out and somehow got a hold of some of his family members. And they took him to the VA hospital in Winston-Salem because he was a veteran. And took him in there using his name and his legitimate name and all that, knowing he was a freaking fugitive from justice. Took him down there, and then they treated him, and then they sent him to a cancer center in Galax, Galax, Virginia. And that's where I think possibly they weren't going to treat him because he didn't have insurance. So I think his son, for the medical reasons, I think his son turned him in. So they'll be extraditing him back to Tennessee and trying him. They'll have to try him. And when they do, I'm going to be his greatest defense witness. Hopefully he'll get back and he won't waive speedy trial. I mean, if he's got cancer, the last thing he wants to do is wait a year and a half. He'll be dead by then. If it's all throughout his bones and stuff like that, like they're talking, he may not even make it to trial. So I've been following that, trying to get a hold of his people. And his case is really sad, y'all. His wife left him, and he did, however, have some family members stay close to him. He was lucky for that because mine abandoned me, man. My family members abandoned me, except for my mom and my wife and my children, my younger children. But anyway, that's what's up with him. I keep watching, and I just keep watching the inmates in Davidson County to see if he shows up. And if he does, I'm going to start putting some money on his books and so forth. I might even share that information with y'all, his address and his number and stuff. Maybe y'all can throw a little cheese his way as well as I am, because he doesn't have a lot of people. But he stuck with it, man. The old guy, 70 years old. He hid out from the freaking law for 8 years. But hopefully we'll get right rule. They won't be able to do to him like they did to us, because I'll testify. I'll go in there and I'll say, but we did have legal basis to do what we did. See, here's where my ex-wife used the legal basis to discharge her bankruptcy. Here's where I won in tax court using our legal right to do what we did. But this has gotten a little long, folks. I just wanted to get on here because I haven't done this in a long, long time. So yeah, once again, Blackburn had a copy of it she got her certified mail. She got it May the 14th. So she can't say she wasn't aware of it. She could say, oh, it wasn't filed in time. It has to be filed by the clerk. But she won't be able to say she didn't know about it. Other than that, y'all, yeah, have a blessed day, man. It was good getting on here and talking again. It's been a while. Peace and blessings.